Hello, I'm Peter Bell, and I'm here with Mr. Peter Clausi of Silver Bullet Mines. Hello, Peter.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. Nice to be talking with you again.
Yeah, one of us shaved since our last conversation.
Well, and the last one was telephone only in July 2021. So the mystery of the world. I did it. I used a bunch of different images to make the YouTube video for that last one. I don't know how closely people watched at the time, but months later here now, the amount of content you guys have published is just really impressive. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. We're putting 2 mines into production at the same time in the next 4 to 6 weeks while building our own mill. Go team.
Well, in the news today, a new piece of the puzzle at the mill in Globe. That was...
Well, let's go backwards a little bit. Let's assume people don't know anything about the story. It's down in Arizona in near a town called Globe. Globe is like Schumacher or Sudbury. They exist to support the mining industry, or maybe the hockey industry too. We have 5 past producing mines.
Yeah.
We're putting one of them back into production now, called the Buckeye. The Buckeye is the smallest of the 5, but it's also the easiest.
Yeah.
So take the low-hanging fruit, put it back in production.
Yeah.
We're building our own mill to process the material that comes out of there.
Yeah.
Our main mineralization is silver. Then we'll have some gold credits, copper credits, but we have a lot of copper. If you go through the 43-101, there are many, many instances of high-grade copper on the property and in the surrounding area. So one thing we were always planning to do was to attach a copper circuit to the silver processing facility to strip the copper out.
Yeah.
But that costs money, that costs time.
Yeah.
We're going right to processing. No PEA, no 43-101, because they wouldn't have been helpful to us in the first place.
Yeah.
Right, on these giant vein-based systems, they're just not helpful. So right here's your $2 million for a 43-101, and the work needed to support it would have gotten us nothing. So we jump right into production. God, my mind was going down a path and then it wandered off the path.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming back to the copper. So we have started, we started surface. We did a sample run in 2017, 2018, where we poured silver bars, proved that we can, that the metallurgy works.
Yeah.
But the silver bars have an orange tinge to them because of the high copper content. Because of the financing strength, we raised 25% more than the maximum. That's a great number. Yeah. But because we raised extra capital, we have the flexibility to put in the copper circuit now. The original plan was run the gravity mill. You'll lose a little bit of the silver to the tailings with the copper, put it in the tailings pond, and in a couple of years, or if the mill breaks down at some point, you just reprocess the tailings. Yeah. Well, now we can do it all at one time, which is greatly efficient. It means one pass through the processing facility. Selling copper con in that part of the world is going to be easy.
Absolutely.
Right? They're all around us. We sell the silver to the smelter, and we're in revenue in May, June?
Yep.
Somewhere in there.
Yep. Good.
Now, IFRS is weird. Its definition of revenue recognition is different from what you and I would call revenue recognition. So I don't know technically when it kicks in under the accounting rules, but I like to count cash. I don't like things on a balance sheet. Tell me what cash we have. Yep. And we should be getting our first cash in late May, sometime in June.
Yeah. And it seems like there's a fair amount of flexibility for you to disclose cash when it's received. There's some strict rules around guidance, around production rates and timelines and specific numbers, but cash in the till is a different story.
Right. And we're not going to be offering production guidance. Yeah. The 43-101 says we can't.
Yeah.
So our financial statements, our press releases, and our MD&A will tell the story. Yeah. So you'll be looking at the story, the facts in a rear view mirror while we're driving forward. Yeah. It's a great story. It just keeps getting better.
It is. Yeah. Well, the best projects get better the more you work them. And that's writ large here.
Well, it's like that head frame over my shoulder. I don't know if you can see it beside the light, but that's a chalk of a the Hollinger head frame up in Schumacher on Pearl Lake.
Love it. And I've got a screen share here going now, and just to show The little red dot is Globe. And to zoom in, you can see to the south here, the Ray Mine, Big Pit, and the top of the world, Miami, this whole complex here. What a, you know,
if you stand on the hill on our property, you can actually see into that open pit.
That's right. Yeah. And I think I can find where your mill is. Yep, here it is. It's up here on Silver Hill Road.
Yep.
So pretty, and in some of the pictures I've looked around and I've been like, hey, I can see houses in the background of these, and where is this? And it took me a while to figure it out, but there's some patent at an old mine around here.
Yep.
And so this is the area that you're talking about where, you're standing up on this hill and you're looking across into these mega pits.
Yeah.
So amazing location to be talking about small scale, high grade production. Really powerful spot. And to have the local team who lives there and everything like this, like there's a lot of things that are lined up the right way in terms of building a small, new aggressive story.
And it's my opinion that we're going to be one of the lowest cost providers in the area.
Yeah.
Because we own our own mill.
Yeah.
We own our own assay lab, as any responsible producer has to.
Yes. Yes.
We have mainly patented lands. And we're horribly cheap with the shareholders' money. And we have, call it $2.93 million in the till right now.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot, but that's easy to blow if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's really not.
So we are going to be on top of those costs every day. Unfortunately, our CFO was really cheap too, in the best way possible. So good.
Yeah, the whole team around you guys, it's kind of a unique situation with a bunch of kind of people who've been doing stuff together for a long time that are doing something completely different here now. And as I've said, I haven't seen anything else quite like this ever before. But it was what I was trying to do myself privately in some ways.
Really?
So to see you guys doing it and doing it at scale above and beyond what I could have ever managed, very impressive. And believe it or not, I actually added these points on Google Maps. So I think these are roughly accurate. And the silver, this is the Buckeye Mine, and you can see the yard there and some of the adit and things like that, portals and things. And so this is where the first mine is going in that you've been redoing.
It is in. Right.
Thank you. Exactly right. Yeah, you're into the treasure room underground here already, right? So
right. So we've cleared out the western adit. So we're using that as the emergency exit if needed.
Yeah.
And for ventilation. There'll be a second entrance near the vein structure, and the boys are getting started on that now. Has to be big enough to take the LHD, loader, hauler, dumper.
Yeah.
So it goes in, scoop, takes the mineralized material out, and all of that is underway now.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah, it's been great to see the pictures from this site and from the mill site. I look forward sometime to seeing a dashboard camera of the drive from one to the other, and it's a 90-minute drive or something like that. It might be, and to see, is there any parts of the road that are rough or whatever, and just to get a sense for the reality of things there.
While you and I have been talking, I've received pictures from site that I'll have up on our Twitter feed tonight.
Beautiful.
We made a commitment early on to be transparent.
Yeah.
To tell the shareholders exactly what was going on, not our version of it, and not only when we felt like it, but all the time. And the pictures, there's the ball mill being loaded up, offloaded in the second bin. The pictures in the video we put up go a long way to help building the credibility.
Yeah.
Not only are we saying it, we're actually doing it.
Well, and you guys have been tested already, because it was supposed to be February with the first cash flow, and now it's June or whatever. And so, 3-4 months delay. Like, I'm glad that we're talking about delays that are measured in months and not years, and cost overruns that are measured in millions of dollars, not hundreds of millions of dollars, because these big projects, they can get really, really slow, really expensive. So
our cost run's not in overrun is not in the millions either.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We got lost. For people who don't know, some of our equipment got lost in the port at Long Beach.
Terrible.
What usually takes 20 days to clear through the port took 70.
Yeah.
And that was the drivetrain and the motor for the ball mill. You kind of need those.
And the MCC, was it the brain too? Did that end up there?
The MCC came separately.
Okay.
In fact, that's getting wired up. A lot of the cable trays that you've seen lately
Yes.
are to support the electrical running between the master control center and the rest of the mill.
Oh boy.
Hey, that was an empty field at the beginning of September.
I know. And that's not the Buckeye site. That's the mill site that you're seeing pictures of right in here. And it's in the city limits or something like that too. So, just that location, right? Is in terms of access for the guys there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for keeping the flow of content steady. I'm sure there were some tough decisions. Well, or I wonder, were there tough decisions, or was it kind of already decided that you would just keep updating people on what was happening despite the adversity of the delays and all that?
Well, the CEO and I talked about that. He and I are the two capital markets people. As you might have noticed, I enjoy engaging with people.
Yeah.
I like talking with people and listening back from them. So does John. So we decided early on that we were going to be transparent. ESG wasn't just going to be the latest three letter acronym that people are throwing around. We're actually embracing it. And a large part of good governance is transparency. So even when we had the delays, we're telling people, yes, we have a delay. This is why. This is when we expect it to be resolved.
Yeah.
There's
simple.
Yeah, yes. That's the emergency exit there. The baby bobcat can fit in it.
Yeah.
But there's no way a baby bobcat can do 100 tons a day.
Well, and I saw a picture of the LHD before too. So, and then there's that whole story about you guys sourcing kind of secondhand equipment. And because you have that local team who've been working on this idea for years, they've been putting away bits and pieces to get ready for this, and they're ready to go.
Yeah. And the decision today to add the copper circuit would cost many people months and months and a lot of money to build. But because John was smart enough to buy equipment in advance, there was an old mine that was shutting down. So he went and he bought everything. And if you look at the top left, see those three, no, go back, there. Those three round tubes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
They're your cells for the copper circuit.
Beautiful.
They're almost impossible to find.
Well, that's the thing. I couldn't even spot them on the picture because I was looking at this and I was like, what? Sorry, I don't know what a copper's like. What is it, a frother this doesn't look like a frother to me. Like, what is?
You're describing individual components. The whole thing is called the circuit.
Yeah.
The cell holds the acid, and there are different components to the circuit.
Yeah.
And then the circuit itself is part of the mill.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what's going in it. They're doing some testing now. I think John has drawn up the SEPRO, but I don't know.
It's amazing. John must be having a great time, be a process guy, be able to put these bits and pieces together and get some funding and some support.
200 mills around the world, right?
Yeah.
So this is what he's really good at. This is his backyard. To divvy up the work, Burks Bovaird, the chair, Brian Crawford, the CFO, and I generally deal with corporate, and John deals with the field. Now, there's always overlap. It's not that simple. Yeah. But we've been trying to stay in our own lanes while working together.
And you seem to be doing a pretty good job of it. I don't see too much conflicting messaging coming out, or any kind of confusion or frustration, really. It's despite all the challenges that bread and butter of this business. I love this line that you had online earlier about a porphyry, something that you spend 5 million on to see if you want to spend 50 million on, to see if you want to spend $1 billion or 10 on.
Yeah.
And for people who wonder about what that means exactly, let's just zoom out again and show you the size and scale of some of these century mines in the area and what these big porphyry systems look like when you start pitting them. It's tremendous. Lots of copper.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
We had one of the majors come to us to talk about a possible co-investment. And it was as though they patted us on the head and said, "Oh, you cute little guys, you go mine the silver. Call us when you get to the copper."
Yeah. Yeah. And you've had some good commentary on that too, like the guidance around your strategy on that. Yep. I noticed something in there today where you were saying, like, that you want to have 2 mines in Arizona going before you even start looking at the porphyry. That was kind of like a new line that I hadn't really heard before. It's like, it's probably a good idea. You know, those porphyry hunting is a big boy game. You can get in a lot of trouble, deep water, real quick.
The timeline is attach the copper circuit to the mill, so that the mill is fully functional, and then start processing material from the Buckeye. We already have 1,500 tons at surface.
Yeah.
So we're good to go.
Yeah.
But what we haven't talked about yet is the fun we're having up in Idaho.
Yeah, I know. I want to dig into that.
Idaho, we're opening a mine there too.
Yeah. I've tried to look around on Mindat to find this one, and I'm not confident that I've been able to find it. And I want to talk to some of your people a little more at some point to get into this one, because what I've seen so far looks pretty good.
So in the late 1800s, they started mining here.
Yeah.
Large grade gold, high grade gold, sorry. And they were direct shipping it.
Yeah.
They were direct shipping some of the silver. But at 70 cents silver, nobody wanted it.
Yeah.
So what they did was they blocked out the silver. In other words, they mapped it underground so they knew where the silver was, and they attacked the gold.
Yeah.
And they never went back for the silver, which means it's just sitting there waiting for us, just inside the adit. So in our press release of last week, we announced that we're going to start mining the Washington mine in Idaho now. And it's an easy plan.
Yeah.
Make sure it's safe. So get in there, timber up, put in some rods and netting. Hire a contract miner to go take 1,500 to 3,000 tons of material. Remember, this material averaged 59 ounces of silver.
Yeah.
It was up in the hundreds and hundreds of ounces quite frequently.
Yeah.
Which is insane. You know, you consider that Bonanza silver is common wisdom is that it's 30 ounces of silver per ton of material. And they were averaging 59.
Yeah.
We did a bulk sample from 8 locations, and we got an average of 55 ounces of silver per ton, over 1,900 grams.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
So the contract miner will go in, haul out those ounces, put them in trucks. There's a mill that's 3 hours away, and process it there on a custom mining basis.
Yeah. Yep. Contract mining, toll milling. Boy, that's talk about speed, accelerating, the ability to move fast and do a lot for relatively low cost, you know. Please, thank you.
So look at there's the historical report, pre-43-101.
Yeah.
So the usual caveats and warnings apply. The blocked out volume contains an estimated 3 million ounces of silver from 30 to 90 ounces per ton.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it starts at Bonanza grade.
Well, that was their cutoff, because that was the old timers cutoff. Was our Bonanza today was the old timers cutoff, right?
Just a wonderful project. So that means we will be in revenue from that this summer.
Yeah.
Right. 2,000 tons sounds like a lot of material. But to a mill that does 100 tons a day, it's only 20 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if the met is favorable too, like, and they can blend it in, and it's not going to be introducing some deleterious stuff when they get to their heating stage and melting and causing problems for them.
There's always going to be something, Peter, that doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
So although it's mainly silver, the assays show little lead, little zinc, little manganese.
Yeah.
But it also showed a little arsenic, a little cadmium.
Yeah.
So when I do my personal math on a project, I assume the debits and the credits are going to balance out, and I only calculate the primary. I hate this silver equivalent number that you see people quote, because they don't tell you about the deleterious material.
Yeah. We had some fun chatter on that here the other day. I was laughing about your reply that you said that publicly online here. The same thing, and that's a good way to think about it.
Well, we try to do everything consistently, whether it's in a one-on-one interview with you talking to all of your people, whether it's CEO.ca or the press releases. We really work at making sure it is a consistent one-mouth message.
Yeah, good job with that. And sometimes that kind of requires the message to get a bit simplified, But the point of some of this kind of stuff is that, look, if you think the message has been watered down or simplified to the point of being goofy, pick up the phone, call Clausi, yell at him he's an idiot or whatever like that. Get into the details if you really want to find out, because that's what I've done, and I've been consistently impressed by what I've heard. So good work. Thank you.
Thanks. And we're in the metaverse. We're going to the mining show this year. I don't have my booth number yet, but we're getting a booth. Silver Bullet set up worlds in the metaverse.
Isn't that fun? Yeah.
And so I spend about half an hour to an hour every day wandering around. My avatar's name is Silver Bullet Mines. Beautiful. And we go talk to other people. I bring them back to our world. There's a shooting range. I take them down to Burlington Beach, where there's a helicopter and drone range and restaurants.
Beautiful.
And somebody's building a bar, and they're going to build a slot machine called the Silver Bullet Slot Machine. So at PDAC, we're going to have
777s. Let's go.
We're going to have 3 or 4 pair of the goggles.
Wonderful.
We're going to be casting up the TVs, and it'll be a viewing sessions all day long.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. What a clever thing to do. It's not, this was all serious mining. Well, it says the majors patting you on the head again, and people, oh, good for you, right? Yeah. The kind of thing that it's easy for people to write off. And how many investors are there really in the metaverse? It's like, guys, really, you're just gonna say no to an entire thing that's out there, that's happening, that's changing, growing fast, and we don't really know anything yet about it, and you're gonna just say that there's nothing there without checking first? No.
Facebook has changed its parent company name to Meta. Yeah. They're focusing their resources on the metaverse.
Yeah.
Facebook has said, right now you need to wear the headset and have the hand thingies to get in there. Facebook has said they're going to have a version that's accessible on your desktop, your laptop, your phone in 6 months.
Wow.
Which generally means sooner than that, because they give themselves lots of lead time.
Yeah.
So we are, in 1993, Sir Tim Berners-Lee published the source code for HTML.
Yeah.
In 1994, Mark Andreessen and his partner, whose name I forget, co-wrote the first user-friendly web browser called Mosaic.
Yeah.
The internet blew up.
That's right.
In ways we couldn't imagine then to what we have today.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's where we are in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're there early. We're staking real estate. We're staking claims. We're building businesses. We are going to attract another demographic by being in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And reputation and authenticity, it's all those kinds of things as well. It's amazing to think that you would spend time there on behalf of the company, right? On a daily basis. I can think how many other IR people in the world or in junior mining business would think that's an appropriate use of time.
So first off,
I do. Sorry.
I don't do IR. I do shareholder engagement. Investor relations to me is a bit of a crappy term.
Yeah, agreed.
Shareholder engagement, if you read our press releases, it dovetails with our MDA, which dovetails with the shareholder materials.
Yep.
So we like engaging with the shareholder base. And I can do that on a one-to-one basis in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Whether it's a shareholder calling me here or we're talking through avatars, it's still engagement.
Same thing, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and some people I know they're a little scared to do things where they have to write it down online, and if it gets into a conversation, they'd rather have you call them and no recording of it, please and thank you, right? So there's all that stuff too that I found with you guys. You're pretty aggressive about the transparency again and owning it and not trying to hide things in conversations that people would want to know about. So,
I'm a securities lawyer. I've been doing this for a very long time.
Exactly.
Our chair and our CFO have been doing this a very long time. John's been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
We know what we can say and we know what we can't say.
Yeah.
But we're not going to mislead anybody.
Yeah.
Like we tell, here are the risks, here's the possibilities, this is what we're doing. If you want to come for the ride, I got room for you. If you don't, get on the bus in 6 months.
We'll need buyers at $2. As some of the promoters like to say.
Stuff like that, I'm not allowed to say.
I could say it though. As somebody who bought shares privately at 30 cents and again in this financing at 40 cents. Yeah. Would I buy another round at $1 or $2? Probably, right?
I had
Are things
this
going to things
conversation.
that if they're going to plan, like this
Yeah.
is a very rare situation. I don't have other stocks that are doing this. So is it going to work? I don't know, but do I want to keep taking shots at this? It's moving in the right direction. So yes.
So I had somebody call me up and take shots.
Yeah.
You're raising more money. You said you never would. I go, okay, first off, there's this little thing we call the pandemic and the inflation that it has dragged with it. So yes, we did say that. I could have probably gotten through to production on the original money. I would have been left with 8 cents in the back. So
Yeah.
there's no way I'm leaving 8 cents in treasury. We had to do this financing.
Yeah.
It was prudent.
Yeah.
And we did it at a 33% premium to the last financing.
Yeah.
There's those cells I was telling you about.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So some people will complain about anything, but the fact that the financing was oversubscribed by 25% over the maximum tells you what the general market thought of our proposal.
Yeah. No, the stock's been fairly healthy and stuff. There was some wash of the old Pinehurst shell people, it seemed like, when the deal finally consummated there a few months ago now.
December 6th.
As expected, and it's been fairly orderly since then. Not a lot of chaos or disruption, problems or anything like that. It's been, and then we get videos like this from the underground workings where we start to see the guys poking around in these old mines, and it's like, yeah, that's what we're here for.
Love that color.
Oh, underground drilling and stuff too. Like, I guess we've seen footage of the guys with underground drills and water and everything like that they need to do the work that they have to do. So, yep.
Safe and very safely. One of our people teaches mining safety.
Yeah.
He's the guy who does certifications.
Yeah.
So we talk safety every day. ESG is a way of life, not just words.
Well, and I've tried to push people in Canada to, oh, you have an old mine on your project, go poke around in it. And a lot of times there's resistance. And public companies say, well, if we don't touch it, then it's not our problem. If the minute we go into it, we have government wants us to, it becomes our liability, environmental things like that. So,
well, there's a mine I know of right now that is heavily mineralized in Canada, probably easy to mine from a logistics standpoint, but it has some historical environmental issues that will stop it from proceeding.
Yeah.
The government's got to get involved in that and make that the cost of cleaning it up part of the project, not a front end load.
Yeah. Yeah. And the remediation playbook, potentially there's ways to permit things that if you start with remediation, you can get a toehold position in a production scenario that you can expand. And people say it's easier to expand a mine than it is to make a big one from the start. So
one of us is spazzing out.
Oh, sorry. But just to say that, the remediation angle, it's sometimes there's the government will let you get started on a smaller scale and then expand.
That you or me?
It might be me. It might be me because I'm playing YouTube as well. Maybe it's taken my network bandwidth or something.
Yeah. I think that's my poor Wi-Fi, so I'm moving to another part of the house.
Okay. All good. Yeah.
That room goes wacky once in a while.
Well, I should let you go here pretty much anyways. Appreciate your time. Always, Peter.
It's an easy story.
Oh, I know.
And it has, there we go. It's an easy story with a couple of components to it. The Buckeye's going to be in production in 4 to 6 weeks. The Washington mine's going to be in production in 4 to 6 weeks. We're making revenue from 2 sources this year, and we own our own mill. And there was still only 60 million shares out.
Yeah. Pretty tightly held amongst a particularly bullish group, I would say, too, based on participation in the subsequent round after the go public. So,
been a wonderful shareholder base, man. They're active. They call. They send emails. They're on CEO.ca. They're on social media, and fairly intelligent questions. Not a lot of the silly commentary you occasionally see.
Yeah.
So really happy with the group.
And there was bullish to see this report from Arizona Geology.
Yeah.
That has a lot of information.
Because we're in Gila County.
Yeah. And I think we can add some new chapters to this book too. The potential for discovering another big porphyry and stuff like that, like, yes, that's important. But some more focus on these old, small, high grade mines to me is really smart. You know, the speed off the mark and the permitting advantages, patented claims, and the people, you know, how many people it takes to get this thing going. And the fact that you can find those people locally and we don't have to worry about a bunch of expats and just everything with supply chains, you know, having really short supply chains. I see, other than that's, I see that this deal built around that idea to a large degree. So
it's
exciting.
You know, this is a multi-year project. I've been telling people the financials to look out for are October of 2023.
Yeah.
Because that will be a full audit cycle of reported revenue. Then you can calculate your valuation, add a bump for exploration upside, divide by the number of shares outstanding, and there's your share price.
Well, and most investors have no relevant comp for that. You know, like I haven't invested in a lot of silver stocks really ever, because they've never quite hit the mark for me. This one was one of the first ones that I bought, you know, in larger size relative to my own portfolio. And to think that, you know, that 2023, October 2023 date is an important reference point. It's like, yeah, that's a holding period that I like too. You know, to have been in privately in June 2021 and then to have given it time to go public and then to give it another year after that, like the ability to go in with that kind of timeline up front and to have a bunch of goals and objectives laid out of where it could get to as kind of a realistic scenario if things goes well. Well done. You know, so much better than so many exploration stocks I've bought that what do they have, a 3-month plan, a 4-month plan for the till the paper comes free trading, and then it's
hey, look, I'll still be in escrow then. The whole management team shares will still be in escrow then.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Right? We're locked up under policy 2.4. So
right, yeah, because CPC. Yeah, right. You guys are locked up forever.
So the share price matters to me, but not to spike it on a daily basis.
Yes.
I'm building along a reverse ski slope, if you will.
Beautiful. Well, I look forward to seeing some of these specimen type silver minerals at some point too. I don't know exactly which one we'll see from which project, but the potential for you guys to start getting some really high grade material that, you know, has some of that exotic copper, exotic silver, all these kind of minerals that they're probably not economic drivers of the mine per se, but when you see that kind of secondary enrichment stuff going on, it's just good indication you're in real juicy system. And these mines can go to great depth too. Like that's one of the things for me with Buckeye is that, like, how deep, you know, you get into these vein systems, that how far do they go down dip, and are they continuous, and are they on your patent land position? These are good questions that I like to ask.
So the McMorris mine will be the next mine we open in Arizona.
Yeah.
It has an existing shaft of 650 feet.
Yeah.
You know, the Washington mine in Idaho has 13,000 feet of developed workings.
Yeah. They'll have seen the long sections on that. It's a beauty.
All right, man. My contact info is over there. Call John, call me anytime.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Have a great day.